The purpose of this video is to educate student athletes and parents or guardians regarding the risk for injury in junior high and high school athletics. Important information about clearance forms and procedures that must be completed prior to participation in a sport will also be covered. While athletics are a great way for students to stay active and learn some essential life skills, it's also important to understand, even with the best coaching, proper use of the most advanced protective equipment, and strict observance of rules, injuries are still possible. These injuries can be so severe as to result in total disability, paralysis, quadriplegia, permanent disability, life-threatening injury, or even death. Successful completion of these clearance forms indicates your understanding and acknowledgement of the inherent potential of injury by participating in sports. While recognizing the inherent risk of participating in athletics, Chandler Unified is committed to providing the best possible experience for all of our student athletes. The Chandler Unified School District has a tradition of athletic success. With a district made up of more than 40,000 students, CUSD offers a wide range of athletic opportunities for interscholastic competition to our junior high and high school students.
You know, going back in the past, there was only Chandler High School. And so Chandler High School had had a long and pretty illustrious athletic past. Hamilton came on board. Certainly the dynamic changed, 2 high schools in a city that was growing very rapidly. And then shortly thereafter, Basha High School came. And then ultimately Perry High School came, as well as ACP. The district, the board, the superintendency, and the community really said, we want great programs in everything, whether it be the band, whether it be academics, and certainly athletics was part of that. So the funding was there, the commitment was there from the community, and so athletics really took off, and it's a priority in this district because of the things it does for kids. It's learning outside the classroom, but yet it enhances what goes on in the classroom.
Before participating in athletics each year, student athletes must complete several athletic eligibility clearance forms. The forms can be found on the Chandler Unified School District Athletics webpage or your school's athletic webpage. There are 2 main sections of forms. The first section consists of the athletic participation requirements of the Arizona Interscholastic Association, or AIA. The second section consists of requirements implemented by the Chandler Unified School District. The first part of the AIA section of forms is the annual pre-participation physical evaluation, which has 2 pages. On this form, students and parents or guardians need to complete a self-evaluation regarding the student's health history. This document assists doctors, trainers, and other health officials in better treating student athletes if a health-related incident occurs. The second page of the annual pre-participation physical evaluation is to be filled out by a healthcare professional during a physical evaluation. A doctor of medicine, osteopathic physician, or a certified registered nurse practitioner must perform physical evaluations. The physical examination for the following school year must be given on or after March 1st. The physical evaluation form must be signed by the examiner, confirming that, in the opinion of the examining provider, no medical reason has been found that would prohibit the student from practice or competition in athletic contests. A student may be required to be re-examined. In addition to the physical evaluation forms, both student and parent or guardian must sign the mild traumatic brain injury and concussion annual statement and acknowledgement form stating that they have read the specific educational materials, including the CDC concussion fact sheet. The AIA also requires all students that plan to participate in interscholastic athletic competition complete the Brain Book Concussion Awareness course. The course is free of charge and can be found on the AIA Academy webpage at aiaacademy.org. Once successfully completed, students must print and submit the certificate of completion to the school's athletic office. The Brain Book course only has to be successfully completed once during a student's interscholastic experience.
With the concussion, and there's many mechanisms. A lot of people think you have to have head-to-head contact, which is the most common, helmet to helmet, but you can have head-to-head. You can have an elbow in basketball to the face. I have lots of cheerleaders that get dropped or head to knee, so that's direct contact. But what a lot of people don't realize is just getting hit in the body and getting a rotation actually puts a little torsion on the brain, and you can actually be concussed or have a TBI, traumatic brain injury, just from a rotational force. As soon as we think they have a concussion, they're out of competition until we can evaluate them and say yes, they're concussed, or no, they're not. We run them through 3 tests actually, not one being more important than the other, but we want to make sure that we're getting a thorough evaluation of that concussion. If you do the right things, you can prevent dehydration. And we'll practice. Unfortunately, we live in the desert, we play in the desert, we work in the desert. It's going to be hot. Take 2 or 3 gallons, milk jugs, clean them out, fill them half full of water, put them in the freezer, right? Freeze them half solid of ice, then fill them full of water, bring them to school. Just sip on that water throughout the day. It's not just water that you need to drink though, you need to drink Gatorade. Why Gatorade? Sodium. If the sodium's in there, it grabs it, pulls it into the body, holds it so that you can sweat it out. As soon as you're done with a game or practice, you need to start rehydrating for the next day. If you're an athlete and you've just moved down here, you want to spend more time outside. When you're not acclimated to the hot, dry weather, it can cause serious health implications.
CUSD wants to ensure that student athletes and parents or guardians are well informed regarding the AIA bylaws and rules that pertain to interscholastic competition. The complete constitution and bylaws can be found on the AIA webpage at www.aiaonline.org. We encourage you to contact your respective site administrator for bylaw interpretations. In addition to the forms required by the AIA, there are additional forms required by the Chandler Unified School District. The student history must be fully completed. This is one way to ensure the eligibility of student athletes. The Athletic Code of Conduct reflects our belief that interscholastic athletics provides an excellent platform to teach student athletes how to pursue victory with honor, according to 6 core principles known as the 6 pillars of character. The pillars are trustworthiness, respect, responsibility, fairness, caring, and good citizenship. Each pillar is fundamental in the character development of our student athletes.
Every high school in Arizona plays under the same set of rules which were established by the Arizona Interscholastic Association. They're the governing body of high school athletics in Arizona. One of their main tenets is sportsmanship, victory with honor, getting the coaches, the kids, the parents to realize that without each other we don't have a game. And it's not our enemy, it is another school that's going to bring out the best in us from a competitive side, from a sportsmanship side. Certainly in Chandler Unified School District, we have embraced the AIA's tenets of sportsmanship and victory with honor. We run our own program with that. We hope our kids and coaches and community and parents and fans are promoting the ideals of that. And when we all do that, kids have a great experience and it shines very brightly on athletes and the Chandler Unified School District. There's going to be a preseason parent meeting in every sport, individualized. It's an opportunity for the coach to communicate and articulate what their expectations are for the athletes to have a great experience. At the end, we all want the kids to have a great experience.
CUSD implements a random student drug testing policy in order to prevent, deter, and detect student drug use. This policy applies to all 9th through 12th grade students who want to participate in a school-sponsored sport or activity governed by the Arizona Interscholastic Association. Random tests will screen for, but are not limited to, alcoholic beverages, controlled substances prohibited by law, and legal medication not specifically and lawfully prescribed for the student.
If there's a possible positive, and I say possible because there may be prescription medications that alter the test, that goes automatically to what's called a medical review officer. He's a doctor that specializes in how drugs, medications, prescriptions can interfere with or hinder or change the results of a drug test. If a student is randomly selected and they have a positive drug test, a student will then be ineligible for either 4 weeks or 8 weeks, depending on if they do or do not choose to go through any type of counseling. That is not a discipline infraction. This is a prevention program. Only people in the room, myself, the assistant principal, the parents should know about. It is up to the parents and the student who they tell. So none of this goes on a student's permanent record. It doesn't go in their discipline file. There's no expulsion from school or suspension. There's no police record that's formed. If, on the other hand, a student is in school, someone suspects they're under the influence of a substance, and they report them to an administrator pulls them out of class, and it is found that they are, that's a discipline infraction. And so that can lead to expulsion and many other outcomes depending on what was used, the level of use, and the situation that it's occurred under. I have a few letters from students that had positive results, and they feel it changed their life, that they were on a bad path, making bad decisions, and after having to go through the counseling, dealing with it, addressing the issues with their parents, they've changed how they do some things and some of their decisions, and they feel it's benefited their movement into adulthood.
In order to ensure that our student athletes receive the best care if an injury occurs, the district requires all students to have medical insurance. Student athletes must also have their health history and emergency contact information on file. This helps our athletic trainers, coaches, and administrative staff better serve our student athletes. The Chandler Unified School District takes a zero-tolerance position on hazing and harassment in any form. This applies both on and off the playing field. Hazing is defined as any act that injures, degrades, or disgraces, or intends to injure, degrade, or disgrace any student or staff member in a school-related activity. Students found in violation of the hazing policy will be subject to disciplinary action. In addition to hazing, the district is committed to a policy of non-discrimination regarding race, color, religion, sex, age, national origin, and disability. Students found in violation of harassing another student in any of these areas will be subject to disciplinary action.
Hazing is anything that makes people feel demeaned, makes them feel small, makes them feel intimidated, makes them feel like, gosh, I don't even want to be out for sports because when I go in that locker room, it's horrible. How do you know how people feel? You can never say, oh, my thing that drives me crazy is I was just joking. Well, it's not funny if everybody's not laughing. All of us were laughing, but he wasn't. And I don't care what you say or how tough you want to act. People have feelings, and I don't care how big, how nasty, how tough they are in their sport, they're still people. I think the expectation for everybody at all schools is that you demonstrate integrity and character just by the person you are on campus. It's not so much just down in the locker room, it's how you behave on campus. So I think when you can get kids understanding how important that is, the upperclassmen really want to model that behavior to the underclassmen, and then it just becomes an expectation over time.
Here at Chandler, and district-wide, we as a community, we have a lot of pride in our schools from the elementary level all the way to the high school level. The district provides up-to-date and the best equipment that we can buy. We replace shoulder pads and helmets every year. Yearly, we send them out and recondition. We have a reconditioning partner that's got a contract with our district. There's a donation process, and the parent has the right to do that if they like. They can purchase their own helmet. We have 2 forms that they need to fill out that they're saying that they're donating to the district, and then that helmet then now becomes a property of Chandler Unified School District. During that student's duration of their career, they'll be able to use that helmet so long as it fits them right, fits them correctly, and it's safe. And that too also will get sent out and reconditioned every year along with the rest of the equipment that we have. And that's the main issue is making sure that they're safe when they strap it up and go out on the field.
In the Chandler Unified School District, students must be enrolled in a minimum of 5 classes, with the exception of graduating seniors, and must be passing all classes with a D or better. An F or an incomplete grade will make the athlete ineligible for interscholastic competition. Once a student athlete is deemed ineligible, they must attend 5 consecutive study halls and bring the failing grade or grades to a passing grade. The athletic office will communicate to the student's coach regarding their academic status. If the grade or grades have not improved to passing, the student's ineligibility will continue on a week-to-week basis until the academic eligibility requirements are met.
Our district has a very high academic standard, and I think our student athletes need to meet that as well. You can't just come to high school and want to be an athlete only. You've got to be a student. Also, if you want to be a Division I or II athlete, you've got to meet certain qualifications with the NCAA Clearinghouse. And to get into universities and a certain GPA you have to meet. And athletes have to realize they're limiting their options if they don't don't meet those requirements. The best thing you can do for a kid is set high standards, because they're going to meet those standards. If you set low standards, they're going to drop to those. We have a standard if you got to have a D or higher. Of course, a coach can set that higher if they like, if they want to require C's or higher.
Team memberships will be selected based on the coach's evaluation of a candidate's skill level, team contribution, and attitude. Candidacy for team membership will be based on a tryout period, unless there are extenuating circumstances as determined by the site athletic director. The evaluation for team membership is based on both objective and subjective criteria, which is developed by each coach. All evaluations are approved and supported by site administration. The coaches will notify those trying out at the end of the last day of tryouts regarding their selection or non-selection to the team. Student athletes have the opportunity to meet personally with the coach to go over criteria for non-selection.
You know, kids at this age are at such different levels of maturational development, and so we get the whole gamut of the 14 to 18-year-olds that are at all different levels. So we try to address, you know, some of the weaknesses and be able to capitalize on the strengths. You know, get the technique first, get the body posture, be able to control your own body and space, and then we'll eventually add weight. So that's a safe progression to do it that way. You're going to train the complete athlete. You're not going to just do, if they're soccer players, you're not going to just train legs. You're going to also train upper body. If sport is dangerous, there's going to be injuries. You've got bodies colliding and you're moving at high rates of speed. So we just want to give the kids the best chance possible. I don't like to use the word prevent injury, but you know, I'll say reduce incidence and severity of the injury. I want these kids to be healthy after high school sports. So do I want them to be better athletes now? Yes, but I also want to send them out in the world to be healthy adults. And so I'm trying to give them a whole toolkit of things they can do to be a healthy individual, not just the specialized things for their sport.
Once team selection is complete, coaches, student athletes, parents, and guardians are held to a high standard regarding sportsmanship following the AIA's philosophy, pursuing victory with honor. Parents and guardians may observe the activities from the stands, but are not allowed on the field or courts at competitions. Outstanding student athlete and spectator behavior at athletic events reflects well on our athletic programs.
We really enjoy the parental support that we have here in Chandler. Our parents do a great job of coming to our events, cheering for their kids, encouraging their kids. Kids want to have a good time, and when their parents are encouraging that and showing that that's what's happening, it makes a better experience for their student. Parent meetings are extremely important. We have one here at the beginning of the school year, and at that point, as the athletic director, I get up and kind of give everything they sort of need to know about athletics, what our procedures are, what our clearance processes are, what they need to be eligible. We talk about grades and eligibility and behavior, and also expectations for the parents at that point. And then we also let them know what they can expect from their coaches. So for example, they can expect to have a schedule. They can expect to know when practice times are. They can expect to kind of know how much work is it going to take my student to be on this sport. And then we do also then during the school year, we have meetings each season. At that time, the coaches give their expectations, and that's when they are giving them the schedules and letting the parents know what it is that they can do to support the program.
We recognize that creating great experiences for all of our student athletes is a team effort among coaches, parents and guardians, each school, our district leadership, and many others. We look forward to partnering with you in creating athletic programs that are second to none